Hi, my name is Ryan, and this is Exclamation Points. This month, we're going to share a slideshow with you from my oldest son, Austin's first mission trip. So sit back and enjoy.
Here's Ashley and I getting dropped off at the Miami International Airport. This is Ashley's 6th time going to the Dominican Republic, and this was my first time ever going out of the country. So I was slightly terrified, but I was also really excited for the journey. Here are a couple pictures of Rick and Carrie Bernard's house. They were the couple who started the Bread of Life organization as well as housed our mission team. We all gathered up and got on the bus to go towards God's Mountain. A little history about God's Mountain. It was used for pagan religious practices originally, and Christian missionary teams drew them out of the cave and said that this is God's Mountain now. It is used as a symbol of God's love for the Dominican Republic, and everybody is welcome to go up there and worship and pray inside the cave. It was an incredibly humbling and very sacred experience. We all spent a little bit of time worshiping on the top of the hill right before we went into the cave, and then afterwards we were able to spend 10 to 15 minutes inside the cave just listening to the Holy Spirit. Up on top of the hill where God's Mountain is located, there's also this abandoned castle that you can see from a cleared out area of the mountain. Here are a few pictures from the marketplace. We went there to get some fruit that we would be eating at the missions home. While we were there, we saw some really shocking things. There were various butcher shops that basically just hang the meat up in their little store, and it's not refrigerated. The stench was absolutely unbearable at times, and it was very, very humbling, honestly, to see that this is the normal marketplace, for a third world country. And it just makes me realize how blessed I am. Here are a few pictures from the day that we spent in the capital, Santo Domingo. I went to the first Catholic cathedral ever built in the Dominican. It is apparently the resting place of Christopher Columbus, and it was just really cool to get to learn about the history of the Dominican Republic. And they still hold church service in this Catholic cathedral, which was pretty cool. Here are some pictures from the refugee area. These refugees are victims of Hurricane George from a few years back and are living on this compound. Most of them have jobs, but they are unable to get out of this living situation. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see all of these wonderful people living in basically thatched roof houses. Most of the children were barely in a stitch of clothing. While we were there, we installed a solar light, which is a 2-liter bottle filled with water and is able to refract light during the day into the homes of the refugee area, allowing us to show the light of Christ. It was remarkable just to see how much it meant to them to gain sight during the day. While in the refugee area, we were able to bless some people with gifts and donations from our team. One little girl who had cerebral palsy, we blessed with diapers and also gave her mom formula for her other children. And seeing this 11-year-old girl just absolutely ecstatic about the gift that we were giving her. Was just priceless. On the last day that we went to the refugee area, we were able to bless all of the refugees with a medical clinic. We applied various ointments on scabies and gave all of them cold medicine and parasite medicine and prayed over people who had other severe illnesses. We spent a good majority of the time at this girls' home that Rick and Carrie actually helped create. They also provide meals for about 100 kids every day during the week. They're known as the Bread of Life Kids. And Ashley and I spent most of our time at this girls' home getting to know these kids. They left such an impression on me. I became known as Caballo, which in Spanish means horse, because I gave so many kids piggyback rides. The Dominican government requires a specific dress code of all children in order for them to be able to go to school, and so while we were there, we were able to bless all of the Bread of Life kids with dress shoes, which means that they are one step closer to being able to go to school. Our team also brought all of the Bread of Life kids flip-flops. I brought some Exclaim the Name t-shirts that we gave to one of Ashley's best friends in the Dominican, Louisa, and all of her family members. On the last day that we went to the girls' home, we surprised the Bread of Life kids with pizza and Oreos. Most of these kids have never had pizza, and so they were extremely excited. One night we went to a Dominican church, and needless to say, it was very loud and joyful noise. Pastor Jason spoke about how God doesn't care if we're comfortable or not, and that if we only live our lives comfortably, then we miss out on what God truly has in store for our lives. Regardless of where you are in the world, you're always connected through Christ. The most important lesson that I learned while in the Dominican Republic is that we serve an extraordinary God, and that when He calls you to go on a missions trip, I pray that you will answer the call, because we are His disciples, we are His vehicle to share the love of God with the whole world. God bless.